All right, so in this section, we're gonna talk about walls, how to mount those walls, what materials to use for the walls, and why we're doing the walls after the floors and ceilings.
So there's many different ways to do walls, and really it's preference. You can paint your walls, you can do what we like to call faux TNG. We use a CNC machine to cut grooves, so it makes it look like tongue and groove. You can do this with a router. You just make a little jig, it makes straight lines. We do fabric walls where we use Lando foam, which is a very thin foam, and then wrapped in fabric. This personally is my favorite because it gives makes all the seams very clean, and it also adds just a little bit of insulation, and it also really keeps the van quiet. We don't recommend doing actual tongue and groove for the walls. It's squeaky and it's difficult. If you're a good woodworker, by all means, give it a shot. But we do like to use a backing to nail that tongue and groove too. Our preferred wood for the walls is Baltic birch. You don't necessarily need to use Baltic birch. You can use a thinner, cheaper plywood, but Baltic birch affords you a little bit more rigidity. How you screw these things to the wall is something we'll walk through, what kind of screws to use and how to place your screws so everything looks clean and symmetric.
So once again, this is more of a visual thing. So we're gonna head to the shop, put up some walls, and start to make this look like a van.
So we're gonna go over a little bit of the order of things. I get asked a lot, like, when do I do this? When do I do that? One thing that we like to do is, like we said in the beginning, cut all your metal stuff when the van is completely empty. So any big metal, cutting windows, vents, stuff like that, so you're not scratching everything up. Once that's all installed, clean everything out, rough wire your van, then your insulation, then you're gonna put your ceiling in, and then your floor, and then you do your walls. So I like to get the ceiling in before the floor, so that way, as you're coming in and you're doing work, maybe you're drilling holes, whatever lands on the floor isn't gonna be scratching your floor up. And then I like to get the floors in before the walls, so when you're gluing all this stuff in, you're not potentially getting adhesive on your walls or epoxies or spray glues, anything like that. Getting this stuff in order first. We don't have this stuff covered up right now because we're just, showing it off. But we'll typically run cardboard to cover everything up so the floor doesn't get scratched. But once you get your walls up, just think of that as like, now I am ready to start building cabinets. I really strongly suggest you stick to this order because a lot of people will just start building cabinets in a specific order, and then I feel like you get a little bit jumbled up and you really want to finish a section of something and then something gets left behind. And I also see a lot of people try to save a little bit of material and save a little bit of money by like removing some of the panel because there's going to be a cabinet right there. That works really well and it's fine, but I almost find it more difficult to work around stuff like that rather than wrap the whole thing in walls. All of your floor, the whole floor gets vinyl. It's not gonna build around your cabinets. I like to do it in this order because it's a lot easier, it's faster, and it's cleaner. And it also seals the floors up from any kind of water getting through, and it just overall looks cleaner. I would say that the money that you save is negligible compared to the time you save by just doing everything in a big chunk. And this just leaves something that maybe the van life isn't for you. But if it's built like this, you're gonna have a much easier time selling it because everything just looks a little bit better and it looks a little more appealing. Looks like something someone would spend money on. So keep those kind of things in mind when you're building. Speaking from experience, just cover all of these things and do a nice, neat job. So you basically have a semi-looking finished van minus cabinets when you get to the point where all your walls are up.